PCOS and every single trip to the grocery store feels like a test that you're failing, this is for you. Okay. You don't need another restrictive meal plan that has a million ingredients that you don't even own in your house and you have to go buy them and you can't pronounce them. You need a pantry that works with your hormones, not against them. So in this video, what I really want to show you is exactly what you should have stocked in your pantry so that you can stop guessing, you can start healing, and make every meal a step towards supporting your hormones and easy and effortless weight loss versus feeling like your hormones control you. Okay. So I have worked with a lot of women with PCOS, and hands down, I think one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that you can't eat carbs. You can eat carbs. What we want to do is make sure that we are optimizing our day and our meals to support insulin sensitivity and increase our insulin sensitivity and see these results that we want, right? Okay. So number one, we got to get in breakfast. Okay. So if you have PCOS, stop skipping your breakfast. Blood sugar and hormones are really begging for that stability. Start your day off with a minimum of those 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking, making sure you're getting your fiber. It's really such a simple and easy way to reduce cravings, improve your energy, and therefore improve ovulation because blood sugar balance is one of the most important things when we're looking at PCOS. Blood sugar balance is one of the most important foundations, honestly, across the board. But when we're dealing with insulin resistant with PCOS, every time we're spiking our blood sugar, it can cause those ovaries to produce more testosterone. When we have too much testosterone, it can impair ovulation, which obviously is our goal. We're looking to support ovulation and have balanced hormones. Okay. So if you've ever stood in your kitchen, you're staring at your fridge going, oh my gosh, I literally don't know what to eat for my hormones. I don't know what to buy. You just have a bunch of random things. You feel like in order to eat healthy to support your hormones, it's all about restriction. It's boring. Not really. If you've spent hours on Pinterest saving like PCOS diet recipes that require ingredients you don't own, / can't afford, honestly, don't even like, / wonder why you're bloated, exhausted, and moody. Yeah. Okay. So let's think about first how we're going to always plate our food. And then from that's going to help you build out your staples because guess what? You get to pick a lot of these staples. I'm going to give you categories and you pick. Okay. So we always want to aim for half our plate being non-starchy veggies, 30 grams of protein, quarter of your plate being protein, and then a quarter fat and carb. If you have insulin resistance, we want to increase our sensitivity to insulin. So you're going to want to focus more on the low glycemic carbs. Okay. So higher glycemic carbs are going to be things like pasta, bread, rice, and something I just really want to reiterate when it comes to carbs. Bread is a type of carb, but not all carbs are bread. So fruit is a carb, rice is a carb, quinoa is a carb. Carbs are good. We need carbs to support ovulation. But when we're dealing with insulin resistance and we want to sensitize it, you really want to be focusing more on the low glycemic carbs, okay? Because we're looking to have our blood sugar get these rolling hills versus peaks and valleys, okay? And as you increase your sensitivity to insulin, as you make that improvement, you can start adding more of those higher glycemic carbs back in, okay? So that's number one, is you want to make sure you have low glycemic carb options. So this isn't a completely low glycemic carb, but potatoes actually are a starch. Well, you might know that, but I'm telling you, they are a starch. And once they've been cooked and fully cooled, they become what's called a resistant starch that does lower the glycemic index. It also does something super cool, like feed the good gut bacteria in your gut. It becomes a prebiotic. So that is awesome. They're a good one to have on hand. And if you just watch your serving size with them, it's going to be a great staple to have as a lower glycemic carb. What I recommend is if you have them in your pantry, you want to bring them in for some meals, chop them up, put them in a tray, put them in the oven, bake them with some avocado oil or some tallow or some coconut oil with seasonings, and then let them cool and put them in your fridge. You can just pull them out and there you go. You don't even have to worry about it. You naturally have your resistant starch all ready to go. Berries are another one. I love berries. They definitely can get a little bit pricier when you buy them fresh. And so frozen berries, frozen organic berries are definitely one of the fruits that I always buy organic. They're a great one. To bring in, another type of fruit that would definitely kind of sit more in that category would be a kiwi as well. That would be one that you could definitely bring in. It's also really high in vitamin C. Your other low glycemic carbs are going to be like your squashes, like pumpkin, acorn, spaghetti. Those are also going to be better options as well. Sweet potato, sometimes for people is an okay option, but it will kind of depend on you. Everybody does respond to things a little bit individually there. So those are some to keep in mind in your low glycemic category. And then you want to make sure you have enough protein on hand, right? We're looking at 30 grams of protein minimum for breakfast and for all your meals, honestly. So I love chicken sausage. One of my favorite brands is Amylu, Amylu, to have with breakfast, and eggs. I'm an egg person. If you're not an egg person, you don't have to eat what I eat. You can eat whatever you want. You can have dinner for breakfast. Nobody said that you have to have breakfast foods for breakfast. Okay. You can have leftovers from dinner. So everything going into your meat category is going to be like fish, any animal meat, eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese. So those are great ones. And then the biggest one is going to be the non-starchy veggies, making sure you have fiber. So like with the potatoes, I would recommend getting a bunch of veggies, chopping them up, putting some avocado oil, tallow, some type of oil, an amazing seasoning. I will tell you, one of my favorites for this is from Redmond Sea Salt. It's called, I call it the everything seasoning, but I don't think that's what it's called. Go on everything, versatile seasoning. I put that stuff on everything. Chicken, fish, potatoes, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. It is fabulous. That is the most necessary pantry staple. Cook your veggies, pull them out, and then there you go. You have veggies that you can just add to every meal. That's my biggest hack when it comes to making sure you have enough fiber. Another one is I like buying something called broccoli slaw, which is like chopped up broccoli with like some cabbage and carrots, and it's all shredded and it's great. And I will just put it as like a base and add a type of dressing with some meat, with some fat, add a type of carb. There you go. I'm all about making sure I have simplicity in my bag. Okay. If you've been struggling to balance your hormones naturally, even though you feel like you're doing all of the things, you have low energy, you have irregular cycles, you can't get rid of the weight gain, you have PMS, you have painful periods, you know it's tied to your hormones, but you're very overwhelmed by all of the health information out there on what to eat, what supplements you should focus on, what lifestyle things you should change, what labs you should run. It's overwhelming. There's a lot of information out there. I have a free mini course that goes over all of the reasons why you're still struggling, even though you feel like you're doing all of the right things. And on top of that, I'm going to go over the 3 pillars, the 3 steps that are so vitally important when it comes to balancing your hormones naturally. No matter what your symptom is, this is going to apply to you, because these 3 pillars and these 3 steps are so vitally important for every single woman who's dealing with hormonal imbalance. So it's yours. All you have to do is go to the QR code and go ahead and join. It will get sent right to your inbox and you can get started today and start feeling better. So, making sure you have your food in your pantry, like protein, make sure you have food in your pantry, guys. Make sure you have protein, make sure you have a fiber source, make sure you have low glycemic carbs. So across the board, every time you're going grocery shopping, just look through that. See if you can go check, 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 check. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So those are really, really great to have on hand. Like I said, batch cooking the potatoes, batch cooking the veggies are going to save you so much time. And then you can even batch cook protein. I am a batch cooker. I find it much easier than meal prepping because I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat the same food every day. That's disgusting. Like I get bored. I don't want to plan out all my meals for the week. But if I have protein and low glycemic carbs and fiber sources, I can just grab and feel like, oh, it sounds good to like make a mixed bowl today. Or no, I want to like make, I want to make chicken with some veggies and top it with an egg. Like I can just change it up, and I like that versatility. So that is the things I would make sure across the board, like you're filling your categories for. Again, like I said, it doesn't matter to me what you like. You get to pick from those categories. Okay. And then I really want to make sure in your pantry you have snacks. Okay. So, or easy to go snacks. So one that's honestly quite cheap and you can prep ahead of time is going to be hard boiled eggs. Grab and go. Chicken, grab and go. Leftovers works as a snack too. But I love meat sticks. I'm telling you, meat sticks are one of my grab and go snacks all the time. I use Paleo Valley. You can use the coupon code Leah. They are my favorite. I've been using them for years. Won't stop using them, but they are so easy. Grab with a piece of fruit. Go, run. I make sure that we do have some type of nuts as well, because that's again another easy one I can grab and go. And then typically what I would do is I try and make a snack for the week, whether that's like a homemade protein bar. Yeah, that's kind of all I make. I make like a homemade protein bar, or they're called like energy balls with seed cycling seeds. That's a great one. Okay. So I would make sure in your pantry you have some snacks, whether you make them or whether you buy them. If you want to buy them, I really highly recommend beef sticks. If you want to make them, I really highly recommend, or buy them, also buy nuts. Make them, I would do the homemade protein balls or the hard-boiled eggs or the homemade energy balls. Another one I'm going to have a pantry staple if I have PCOS is going to be my seeds for seed cycling. So it actually has been shown to help support PCOS, like specifically, strangely enough, of all the things, they finally did a study on how this does impact PCOS positively. So pumpkin and flax seeds, a tablespoon of each from your period to ovulation. Ovulation to period is going to be 1 tablespoon of sesame and 1 tablespoon of sunflower. Buy them whole, buy them organic, grind them before you eat them. They go rancid a lot quicker once you grind them. So you do want to do that. I wouldn't eat them without grinding them, because then you're not cracking that shell and getting all of the nutrients, which is why they go rancid faster once they're cracked. Okay. So they're great. You can sprinkle it on anything, absolutely anything. I typically, like I said, make the energy, seed cycling balls. Those work great. Like Pinterest has 1,000 recipes for that. That is something Pinterest is useful for. Another staple I'm going to have is make sure I have a lot of potassium rich, mineral rich staple foods. So that's going to be like, I love Redmond sea salt. It's a great sea salt question. I'm not going to use the, mineral depleted table salt. I'm going to use Redmond sea salt. Minerals are really your spark plugs to every function in your body. Coconut water is going to be a good one. Bone broth is a good one. Dates are something are really mineral rich. Again, they're not low glycemic. They are high in fiber. So that does kind of work in your favor, but 1 or 2 here and there is a great one to have. But like I said, coconut water is great. Bone broth is great. Teas are phenomenal. Spearmint tea is obviously very helpful at lowering androgen, so that can be helpful when you have PCOS, but nettle tea is super high in potassium. Potassium is your stress mineral. It is also the mineral that helps sensitize your cells to your thyroid hormone. I'm not recommending supplementing with it. I'm recommending bringing in foods that are high in it, like coconut water, like nettle tea. Those are going to be great as well. I think we kind of forget how mineral rich herbs are. And so if you're someone that hates drinking water, but you also want to support your hormones and your overall health, teas. Okay. You're killing multiple birds with one stone there. So I definitely recommend bringing that one in. I think that would be really useful. Let's see, what other foods are we missing from our pantry? Seasonings are going to help just make things spicy, I guess, actually spicy, but they're going to make things not boring. So making sure you're seasoning all your food, your garlic, your onion powder. But honestly, you guys, I know you would think Redmond Sea Salt sponsoring this episode. They're not. I just really like their salt. And their seasonings are literally to die for. But their everything seasoning, I'm telling you, you can put that on everything. It is so good. Okay. The other thing that you don't want to have in your pantry, and you should make sure you have a sub, is going to be sugar bomb sauces. You guys, do you know how much sugar is in ketchup? Do you know how much sugar is in barbecue sauce? Do you know how much sugar is in most dressings? Yikes. So first, just look. I think it's kind of interesting. There's about 4 grams of sugar in a tablespoon of ketchup. And you're like, that's not that much, Leah. When you have ketchup, how much ketchup do you have? Because it's probably not just a tablespoon. Okay? That's something to keep in mind. It's terrifying how much sugar is in barbecue sauce. But there are either you can make your own dressings or you can buy some that don't have added sugar. Please don't look for ones that are sweetened with like sucralose, and that's just going to, that's a topic for another day. Don't put those in there. Just get the no sugar added. Primal Kitchens is a great one. That has no sugar added barbecue sauce. It has all sorts of stuff. They're great. They're a great one to start with. So I would make sure that is in your pantry. Some other staples that I like to keep in my pantry. Like I said, we have the seeds, anything that you could maybe make something with if you are wanting to make something with. If you don't want flour and you're trying to keep things low glycemic, because obviously flour is high glycemic, cassava flour is a great one. I use that for so many subs. It's one of the cheaper in terms of like for coconut flour, for example, and I do believe it's cheaper than almond flour as well. And it's very versatile. Cassava flour is great. Tapioca starch is another one that I would keep on hand because you can make most things that you're looking for with that. Okay. So things to make sure you have in your pantry. If you have PCOS, quick recap, make sure you're covering your low glycemic carbs, you have your protein, and you have your fiber sources. We already talked about how you can bring in different types of veggies to make it simpler. You're going to make sure that you have lots of mineral rich staples. You're going to make sure maybe you have teas on hand. I didn't mention this, but I am going to mention it now. Tea bags are very high in microplastics and you're heating them. So you're basically like drinking microplastics, which is disgusting. So just get loose leaf tea and get like a heavy metal or like a metal strainer. Make sure you don't have a ton of sugar added dressings, and make sure you have some cassava flour, tapioca starch if you want to like use it to make different concoctions. Make sure you have lots of seasonings to have flavor builders, honestly. And then snacks. I forgot to recap snacks. Make sure you either have made some to have in your pantry or you bought some. But you guys, if you cover those bases, you are already off to a rip roaring start to be supporting and taking care of your hormones and to be really supporting and helping your body with PCOS by making sure you have all those staples. Now that you have the staples, then the next step is going to be like, how do I balance my blood sugar? How do I utilize these more, etc.? And we have a ton of other episodes on how you can support blood sugar balance with that. But something I just really can't encourage you enough to do is make sure you are having the things on hand to support blood sugar balance. Okay. Remember I talked about the plate and how you're pairing it, because if you don't have the things on hand, you're not going to be able to do it. And then you're going to be getting hangry and you're not going to be able to be reaching your goals. So when it comes to PCOS and when it comes to blood sugar balance, it's really not about restricting calories. It's really about how can we set ourselves up for success with blood sugar balance so we feel nourished and we feel better. And then obviously we can hit the rest of our goals. So I hope that it's helpful for you. I hope you took some notes. Please let me know if you have any questions.